Grand final time then, yes. My name's Dan Gaskin and I'm joined by Lorinda for the big one. I'm really excited for this. I'm sure the crowd's really excited as well. A lot of talk there about Rogue, Neil. So the Rogue is banned away and we will see GreenSheep's Rogue for the first time. We don't know what Rogues both of these players have brought.
So Quest Rogue is the normal Rogue, but it's by no means the only Rogue that is played. Miracle Rogue, obviously a little bit better against those aggressive decks if you feel like you want a little bit of defense. It is likely that it's Quest. That's why everyone was sort of assuming it back there. But yeah, it could well be the Miracle Rogue. And the thing with a two-way final, you get to find out. If it's something you don't like, you ban it next time out. But you go with your read that it's probably Quest. Mysterious has left it up for now. And if there is a surprise, he can always ban it later.
Exactly, so it is a weighted final. If GreenSheep wins this one, he outright just wins the Premiership. He'll be grabbing that trophy. But for Mysterious, he has to win 2 best-of-5s. Bear in mind, this is Mysterious's first ever Premiership final. I know we could say the same about GreenSheep as well, but Mysterious has been here before, Neil. He's been here for the past 2 Premiership finals, but he's never made the Grand Final. 3rd place both times. He's already topped it. He's got 2nd. Do you think he could get 1st?
I definitely do. I mean, I cast him in a small LAN early in the year. It's still one of the bigger LANs in the country, and he beat Blackout twice in that event.
Wow.
Significantly less pressure.
Yep.
But it's still a room full of people cheering you on. He had his team all around. They just won the Overwatch event that day, so they wanted to do the double, so there was quite a lot of pressure on him that day. And he coped with that fine. Like I say, Blackout, one of the best players in the UK, and he just beat him twice. So he can definitely beat GreenSheep twice as well.
Well, we will see game number 1 then in the Grand Final here at London Comic-Con. Mysterious versus GreenSheep. Who's going to be taking home that trophy? GreenSheep is going to be playing Discover Mage, but Mysterious, we will see that aggressive Paladin once again. And he does have a 1-drop. He seems to be finding his 1-drops today, Neil.
Found the 1-drop, but this really does need a 2-drop to go with it, something just to buff it up. It's okay, it's a good 1-drop to have. You're going to always not be short of Murlocs for the whole game here, but GreenSheep has the card you always want when you're playing any sort of mage deck with it in, the Mana Worm. Yeah,
Mana Worm into Frostbolt always feels extremely juicy. Does have Medivh's Valet as well if you can grab some secrets later. But the fact that he can clear and buff up that Mana Worm is going to be massive for GreenSheep following. Mysterious really needs something here, and that's not something at all. That is late game.
Is actually a nothing.
Yeah.
And like we saw previously, if the Paladin has no minions, all of these cards that affect their minions, oddly enough, become completely useless. GreenSheep would just like to get an Arcanologist here. If you could pick up Arcanologist, then he'd be able to just start setting up all his secret walls and use his valets better. But as it stands, he's going to have to just clear these the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, just going to have to get rid of them. It's going to be all right, though. It's not going to be awful. Right. I mean, a Frostbolt possibly worthy here. I'm not opposed to a Frostbolt. It does seem like a little bit of a waste, but at the same time, you are going to keep control.
So the Frostbolt leaves you with a 2/1 Mana Worm after you've traded into the other minion. The thing he'll consider is putting in the Mana Worm into the 1/2 and pinging it and just keeping that board like it is. But as we've been saying, keeping the Murlocs off the board is important. And if you've got even a 2/1 to trade into something, that will be another tool to help him keep those Murlocs away.
So Mysterious was drawing very well earlier on in his previous games. I mean, he went up against Ben's anti-aggro lineup and still 3-0'd it.
Didn't really anti much aggro, did it?
There was no anti-aggro whatsoever in the end.
It just got aggroed.
Mysterious just blasted through it, and he's blasted his way through to the Grand Finals here. GreenSheep has picked up that Arcanologist, as you said. Really important he's able to grab that. If he can find a decent secret here, perhaps an Ice Block, that's what he's looking for, of course, then that's going to help just...
Now, will he want to coin Frostbolt here? If he coins Frostbolt, he doesn't get to play the Secret and the Valet next turn, but he does protect his Mana Worm. But he wants to play the Secret next turn, then coin out the Valet and just clear up this board.
It does seem like against Paladin, you just want to clear as much as possible.
Right, if you can keep the board clear till about turn 7 or 8 with as much health as you can left, even if they play a Tyrion at that point and you can't deal with it, it's a real pain. It will do you a lot of damage. But if you've got through this early part okay, and GreenSheep has so far, you can just about withstand a Tyrion.
The possibilities: could Ice Block coin out Medivh's Valet if he wanted to? Is just going to go for the glyph and search for answers that way, though. Molten Reflection can always be fantastic with the likes of Sorcerer's Apprentice, but instead, just more removal picked up by GreenSheep. I'm wondering, though, Lorinda, how significant both of those Sunkeepers is going to be for Mysterious, as he giggles away at the fact he still isn't drawing anything.
Yeah, this is the big positive of GreenSheep just keeping stuff off the board. These Sunkeepers aren't really going to be able to get a whole lot done. And even if they do, you know, GreenSheep has Meteor to deal with them now. Because 15 is bigger than 3.
Just about. Close, but no cigar. Nice easy ping option for GreenSheep. He can follow up with whatever he wants, really. He's in a really comfortable spot. Alexstrasza being drawn is huge for him. Has some burn in hand as well.
I think he'll take a moment here. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
I think he'll take a moment here to just have a moment to think, what is Mysterious's hand? Because Mysterious has done nothing for turn after turn. And there's only so many things that can actually be in his hand. So maybe a Blessing of Kings, probably work out one of the Tarims, maybe a Curator, maybe a Tyrion. GreenSheep will be planning for stuff that he can work out pretty strongly is actually in that hand, as Mysterious carefully plays around the Meteor here with his positioning.
Exactly, very good positioning from Mysterious, and that will make GreenSheep's turn ever so slightly more awkward. Mana Worm off the top is fantastic because it means he can follow the Mana Worm by any spells if that's the route he wants to go down, but instead just clearing up everything thanks to the Medivh's Valet, getting the value from the Ice Block he played earlier.
Yeah, I thought maybe we'd see the Mana Worm into the coin there before the Meteor just to get a 3-3 Mana Worm on the board, but GreenSheep valuing this coin to speed things up, maybe Alexstrasza later on, and starting to count the damage in his hand. Now we can really count the damage in his hand. That is a lot of damage. It's definitely more than 15.
So does that change your plan now? You leave that Fireball in your hand, or do you leave the Frostbolt? Sounds like he's just more than happy to go face it. My thought process was he saves the Fireball for later with Alexstrasza, but I suppose Fireland's Portal in hand is just equally the same.
Yeah, there's very little healing in Mysterious's deck, so if he gets Alexstrasza by GreenSheep, and GreenSheep has more than 15 in hand, which he does, he could afford to burn that Fireball just to keep the board clear, and by keeping it clear, it buys him more turns to start launching all that other stuff at Mysterious's face.
What is the win condition, though, here for Mysterious? Because he's been trying to regain board control this whole game, but there's been so much removal now from GreenSheep. Is it just a case of getting something sticking by using, for example, the Steed here, and just hoping that there's a lack of removal now left in GreenSheep's hand?
Yeah, there's that, and also he's just picked up that Eye for an Eye, which means he can get to a situation where he can get GreenSheep down very, very low, play Eye for an Eye, and possibly just kill GreenSheep if GreenSheep tries to burn him out.
Yeah, needs to get there first, though. That's the problem. 19 HP at the moment for GreenSheep, and a very scary board to work with that Mysterious will certainly be concerned about.
Yeah, even if he deals with the board, GreenSheep has 8 damage in hand next turn, 10 the turn after. That's more than 15, so Mysterious either needs to kill him in 2 turns, which seems really, really unlikely, or find a way to lower GreenSheep so much that that Eye for an Eye will kill him off.
Gentle Megasaur might be able to help out a little bit. Not the best options, though. Probably looking for something like Poison would have helped. Divine Shield's not really going to do too much in this situation. I guess not being able to be targeted by spells helps that Hydrologist just sit there as a 5/9.
Yeah.
And it's just a nuisance for GreenSheep to get rid of.
Yeah, now it can't be pinged. Obviously, the 8/8 won't be able to take it down with the help of a ping, and a nuisance is a very good way of putting it. GreenSheep just needs to work out now, is a Portal and a Frostbolt to the face going to be enough? Put Mysterious down to 7. How can he gain 3 in 1 turn? And the chances are he can't.
So the only fear of using a Portal is the likelihood of getting a corrupted heal bot from the Portal. That's always a possibility, and then that can be killed and give you a little bit of life total back. But the odds of that happening are relatively low.
You're going to see the Portal to the face. And that means the Eye for an Eye will... Oh, it's not even been played. He's waiting to play the Eye for an Eye, obviously. Of course he is.
So, if he does play for an Eye for an Eye, does that make it awkward for GreenSheep? Probably not, because there's enough on the board to deal with everything, so we can trade in effectively anyway. This is looking really comfortable for GreenSheep. Looking like he might be taking game 1 here.
Yeah, have we actually called a game right today at any point?
Yeah, a few times. I think backstage I did it, just not when I'm in front of the public eye.
You would say that, though, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
I'm not
I was like, yeah, this
right.
one's going to be a 3-0.
Obviously, Ben's going to get destroyed by the aggro lineup. That's what we're all saying in quiet and private, obviously.
A shame for Ben, really. Come here and go 0-6.
Yeah, that's a
his
shame.
first big tournament.
That's definitely the definition of a shame.
A massive shame.
Sorry, Ben.
But perhaps next time.
Yeah, there will, I'm sure, be more Premierships ahead, and getting that experience on this big stage is, of course, huge going forward. It's worked for Mysterious so far, as you said earlier. He's been here twice before, and now he's on the big one. Chance to beat GreenSheep.
So what can Mysterious do to try and stay alive? Is there anything? I'm just looking at how he could trade. Can he get rid of this whole board and maybe play Eye for an Eye and hope?
I mean, he can play Eye for an Eye, get GreenSheep down to 6, play Eye for an Eye and hope GreenSheep has a Fireball and not a Pyroblast and gets his ordering wrong. There's things he can do. But now, actually, yeah.
Wait, actually, this is really good. This is a really good spot. Because if you Pyroblast, there's no way to win with GreenSheep at the moment. You know, we said we called it wrong. I think we've swung this one back in the favour of Mysterious, Neil. His Eye for an Eye, the fact he's been able to get
I didn't
down
think
to
he could
one
proc
is
the block, I
huge.
must admit. I thought he had to get him down to sort of 6, but yeah.
It was very important that he got the War Leader. He was able to get that extra damage through. It means that GreenSheep can't even test for the ping here.
Interesting.
Do you search for something from Cabal Korea? And what could you find?
No.
Alright, we're going to have a tie then. That's going to be a regame.
Well,
Both players are going to die at the same time. No winner found just yet. Rematch, Lorinda. We thought it was going to be there, and then the fact he was able to proc it, absolutely massive. And that's one of the first rematches I think we've ever seen in Premiership
actually,
history.
procking it doesn't even matter because it doesn't proc on your turn anyway.
Exactly,
So.
but I think that's the first rematch we've ever seen.
I haven't seen a tie in a very long time. There was one in a tournament a few days ago where somebody did 5 damage to everything at the same time to save a draw. But yeah, that's the first rematch I've ever seen in the Premiership for sure. And
Now,
it's in the final!
I'm not entirely sure, maybe admins will give me a little bit of clarification on this, whether they have to replay the same decks or whether they can change again, but I'm assuming they play the same decks. Yes, they do. They play exactly the same decks, so we just get a flat-out rematch. So massive pickup from Mysterious, being able to get that Eye for an Eye from the Hydrologist. The War Leader then coming down a few turns later to allow him to get the damage, to be able to get GreenSheep down to that 1 HP, so that he couldn't ping. That was the important factor.
And he saved the Eye for an Eye forever until he got him down to 1. Like you say, if he'd been on 2, he can ping, take the 1, then... Well,
we almost made a mess of it, Neil.
We tried,
we
Dan, we
almost made a mess of
tried,
it.
but we knew what was going on all
We
along.
got there in the end. So
the casters get a regame.
we get a regame,
Can redeem ourselves.
make up for it, but it also means we're back on. We've had 3-0s, but we're not going to have a 3-0 here. Well, we might do, but it would actually count as maybe like a 4-1 in this instance.
3.5, 0.5.
3.5, yeah, 0.5.
Can admins give us a ruling on some definitions, please, just while we're being silly? Anyway, Mysterious has a handful of actual Hearthstone cards this time around rather than 6 and 7 drops, and so he'll have a decent chance of putting a lot of early pressure on here.
Yeah, a lot better, and there's another Eye for an Eye if he wants to take it as well. It might be a nice little backup. I mean, do you prefer Eye for an Eye and go for the long game, or do you take something else just for that early game? I think Mysterious answered that question himself, to be honest.
Yeah, it seems that he wants to do exactly the same thing again as his backup plan. And obviously that can sometimes just be a win. If GreenSheep doesn't even have enough for lethal, you can just make it so that if GreenSheep's got to kill you 2 different ways, he can't even get that draw. Not the greatest start suddenly for Mysterious. The start's been dealt with, but next turn we're going to see 2 Murlocs played and things are going to start to get pretty heavy.
Yeah, that's when things start to go out of control a little bit. I wonder whether GreenSheep's going to start searching with Glyph here. Look for some form of answers. The Volcanic Potion may come in handy a little bit later, so that's why he's gone for the ping, just because he knows he has the removal option for the next turn.
Yeah, going for a secret there. The secret would have cost 1 if he'd found it with the Glyph, but he decides to just get something done this turn, ping off that Divine Shield. Mysterious has made his turn harder for himself by having a better card. He wants to get this Tycaller down early to get it buffed up, but he also wants to just get the damage to the face, and that's what this play does.
Now, ties are really interesting, and I suppose the fact that both players had already seen their decks, they'd already been mulliganing for those certain deck lists anyway, but in some instances, a tie means you can completely change your mulligan, and you'll know exactly what you're going on.
Right. Yeah, like you said, I think these two have watched a lot, and I know when I saw GreenSheep playing in the first game against Ben, Mysterious was backstage, like, watching, he just didn't move
Writing
for the
down every
entirety
single
of the game.
card and everything like
Yeah,
that.
making a lot of notes.
They are on top of it. They know exactly what they need to be doing. And I'm sure they would, by now, have a list of all the possible cards in their opponent's hand. Mysterious is going to do what he can to get as much on the board, hope for there not to be another Volcanic Potion.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be rewarded for that. Going to take a moment for GreenSheep to start to stabilise here. Of course, they know what's in the decks that have been streamed, the ones we've shown you guys. They haven't got a clue what's in each other's rogue deck.
Yeah, exactly. That rogue was actually banned away from Mysterious. But GreenSheep, we will see his a little bit later. Well, we might do.
Assuming he does okay. He may just not bring it out.
Arcane Missile Spellbender. No second Volcanic Potion, which would have been huge, but a Flame Geyser is more than enough just to remove one of these Murloc Tidecallers, which can be a huge problem if you're playing Murloc after Murloc. But so after this turn, Neil, I mean, Mysterious is suddenly in that position that he was in last game, where he's just starting to run out of things to play. Yeah,
and this time GreenSheep will have more chance to just kill the things on the board. Never mind, there's some things to play soon, but this turn is going to be terrible. But what happened last time, Mysterious ran out of things to play, but he had a handful of like 5 cards.
Yep.
This time the board's going to get dealt with, and he's got a hand of, even if you count the Curator as 3 cards, he's only got 5 cards, and some of them are going to be garbage.
Yeah, real shame he doesn't have a coin, or even if it's turn 7, to be honest, Neil. As you said, it's just going to be a simple...
Even if it is a shame it's not turn 7. That would definitely help him at this point.
Help. Dude up and pass. Think you trade as well as best as you can. Try and keep the Tidecaller alive, because that's going to be your most influential minion following. And GreenSheep would have enjoyed that turn.
He will definitely have enjoyed that turn. He'll know exactly what's going on again, as we said last time. And this time he's got more options. He can go for the burn strategy anytime he wants to with his hand. But he also can just use these, even if he has to overkill some things, you know, maybe you end up fireballing a Megasaur later, let's say. It doesn't really matter, he should be able to keep this under control.
Yeah, a nice amount of damage in GreenSheep's hand. Could just go for the Firelands Portal plus the trade with the Elemental and then put 2 damage to face. Hope for something good from the Firelands Portal. You don't want a low roll, and actually that's something very good. That could get interesting if Mysterious doesn't remove it. We could start to see some miracles happen. Yeah,
this is a Lyra. For every spell that GreenSheep casts, he will get a card in his hand. I'm never sure whether it's a priest one or a mage one. I think it's a priest card with Lyra.
It's always exciting when Lyra goes off. And now actually GreenSheep has a fantastic way to just deal with this Tyrion as well. Simple ping and fireball will get the job done. Continue to put more damage to face as well.
The only problem with the ping is it costs him a Lyra card.
Okay.
He's going to do this first to see what he gets. He gets Purify, which is no use to anybody really right now. He can draw another card later with it. He could just try and go Lyra-tastic here.
Lyra-tastic sounds fun to me. But I also like removing Tyrion off the board to keep this Lyra alive as long as possible.
You could Purify your 2/3 just to draw a card. It triggers Lyra again, then just pick up Silence and get rid of Tyrion that way.
That's always a nice way. Yeah, shame Purify can't silence an opposing minion.
That would be really nice.
Then it would have been a good card.
Then it would have actually been a card that we didn't laugh at.
We didn't laugh at. Unfortunately, we all then...
Got laughed at
when Silence Priest became amazing.
They tricked us, basically.
Shadow Form could come in handy a little bit later.
Look at all this damage in GreenSheep's hand. He's got so much now, he can afford to waste some. Sure, just pick up some more. Why not?
Yeah, even more burn damage. Not worried about Lyra dying because his hand is so full now. Anyway, it doesn't really matter to him.
Right, and if Lyra's eating 6 damage from Tyrion, then Tyrion's not hitting you in the face, so it's not a disaster by any means. Done her job, has Lyra right now.
Yeah, and I mean, even if he had taken down Tyrion, that would have just given an Ashbringer, which could have removed Lyra anyway. I mean, in combination with something like a Frostbolt, then maybe that would have been a different situation, but it wasn't in the hand for GreenSheep at the time when he was considering his play. That's a getaway Kodo though, which does mean Tyrion would return to the hand if it was the first minion to die for Mysterious.
Yep, going for more stuff as well, getting double Tyrion. Tyrion still regarded as one of the best value cards in the entire game. Getting 2 of them, pretty silly value.
When do you pull the trigger here for GreenSheep, do you think? Because I'm just looking at the amount of damage in the hand.
He's got the block up, so anytime he thinks he can kill Mysterious in 2 turns, he will. But also, he can just go for this strategy, really, where he clears up this board and just keeps clearing up the board. And it doesn't really matter if he runs out of win conditions. He'll find a way if he gets rid of this next onslaught, because Mysterious's deck, even though it doesn't look like it's very aggressive, it's going to start drawing 1-drops soon, because he hasn't really had many yet.
That's true. A lot of his early game is still sitting in his hand, but that's not early game. That's more late game.
That was always going to happen, Dan.
Do you Mega Soar into Steed, though? I mean,
You're
that looks
scared
like
of
the only
polymorph, but we
option.
haven't seen a polymorph, I don't think, from GreenSheep yet. So,
Okay, I suppose Dude into Steed is fine as well.
yeah, playing a dude every turn is one way of making sure the mage doesn't just run over you with all their cards.
I hate it when mages run over their cards, which has happened a lot recently with the rise of mage, to be honest. Both Secret Mage and Discover Mage are very popular throughout Hearthstone.
Yeah,
Not just
sometimes,
the
especially with the secret variants, you just can't do anything about it if they get the right hand. You've got to guess where they're playing Mirror Entity or whatever. But this isn't one of those. This is the more slow version, I like to call it, although some people call it Burn Mage, which makes it a fast version. I don't know. What sort of version is it, Dan? You tell me.
It's a control-y, discovery, burny mage.
Good. That's exactly what I thought it was called.
That's pretty much where it's at the moment. Everyone's kind of teetering around what it is. They're changing decks here, changing cards here, there, and everywhere, trying to find the right mix for this.
And the right name.
And the right name as well for the mage. It will come slowly. We'll get there. But now GreenSheep has a heck of a lot of damage in his hand, but he does have an annoying minion to deal with.
Yeah, so he's going to deal with it with the Fireball. He's got enough stuff that he can afford to take this time. And he, like us, will know that Mysterious is starting to run out of threats. If the second Spike Steed eventually gets dealt with, then Mysterious is going to struggle to generate a board. Maybe Finger would be the last chance, especially with that Flame Strike being used up.
We spoke about pressure during the Winners Bracket final with Ben playing and it being his first final ever.
Right.
GreenSheep's interview, he said he feels a lot of pressure because there's so much riding on him and he thinks that everyone considers him one of the best players in the UK.
Yeah.
Do you think he would feel that pressure, though, when you're coming into games like this?
I think the time you feel it is when you're stood out there waiting to come on stage. You're like, I've got to win this for my friends, I've got to win this for the community, I've got to win this because I'm supposed to, all those things. The second you sit down, I think when you've played as much as GreenSheep around the world in so many different locations, I don't think he actually feels it when he's playing anymore. Mysterious might, but Mysterious has played enough Hearthstone now on stages that he probably doesn't feel it too much either.
GreenSheep actually listening to music as well. I can see him playing music in the background behind his Hearthstone game. So you can tell he's comfortable, he's relaxed.
He's in his own blank space.
Yeah, in his groove. But now Mysterious trying to find his own groove in the game is going to be forced to use another Steed. So that's both gone now. But that is one hell of a board presence for him.
Yeah, and GreenSheep is going to need to find a way to deal with this. The traditional way is Polymorph, but we haven't seen one, I don't think.
I don't think we have seen any in his deck list. Of course, there are glyphs which could find one, but
Meteor
no
might do it as well. Obviously, this Frostbolt can buy him some time, because that is the only minion he's really scared of right now.
It's a pretty scary-looking minion. 4/12.
It's bright yellow as well.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
So, GreenSheep also mentioned about his preparation, saying that even for a smaller event, which he considers this to be, we'll fire him later, that he still would take everybody seriously, and he showed that he took Ben seriously, because Ben had done the perfect scouting, brought the perfect, if you like, lineup to beat GreenSheep, and GreenSheep had done his homework and worked out, actually, Ben does his homework, so I've got to counter that. Yeah,
it was a very bold decision by GreenSheep to not play to his strengths, as some would say.
Right.
He is known as an aggro player. So very smart decision, to be honest, to just bring some different lineups, some more on-meta, control-y lineups, and it's working out so far. However, he is starting to cycle through these cards in his hand, Neil. We did say there was a lot of burn potential, a lot of damage, but suddenly he's using it all for removal, and Mysterious is still in a relatively good spot, and he still has the Eye for an Eye in his hand.
Yeah, and he's got this card to come here, which makes a Tarim. I don't think you'd rather have a 3/3 than a 4/12 at the moment, but he might take it as a backup option. Yeah, this 4/12 is going to distract GreenSheep so much. It's going to allow Mysterious to build a whole board of 1/1s and general other little guys. And if the 4/12 gets dealt with, then he can drop the Tarim and turn everything into a 3/3 and just keep it coming.
Tarim also a fantastic way to get rid of an Alexstrasza, for example, if that was to come onto the board. A nice, easy way to deal with it, but this board's starting to look a little bit scarier now for Mysterious.
Yeah, GreenSheep needs to make a decision with his Pyroblast, right?
Definitely. He's to be thinking about where he's going to go with this, what his game plan. Honestly, with that Eye for an Eye in hand, I'm leaning towards Mysterious here.
Leaning towards Mysterious.
As close as I can get. He's about 20 foot right now.
I was going to say, you've got a long way to go because you're not very tall.
I know. One day.
One day you'll get there. We're just going to bring the stage a bit
I'll get
nearer.
that growth spurt I've been waiting for 6 years.
Wow. You can do it, Dan. Oh my goodness, though. This has changed everything around. Just rolling the Earth Elemental, which means now that GreenSheep can just deal with the 412 easily. It gives him no trouble now with the Pyroblast. He was going to have to decide what to do with that at some point. And now the Earth Elemental will just deal with the 412 enough that his lesser spells will be able to finish off the Stegodon.
One of the best, if not the best, 5 drops that he could have got in that situation. Not only is it just a huge body, but the fact it's something Mysterious has to get through. Mysterious cannot ignore it, of course, because it's a taunt. Maybe... I mean, Sunkeeper Tarium doesn't even feel good because that 412, you don't want to be...
Let me think.
You don't want to be taking that down to a 3-3.
You really don't, and you don't want to be like killing off this Earth Elemental and then buffing the other 2 minions up either. So I think Mysterious will find another way of getting through here.
I suppose the alternatives is you use your Ashbringer, use the Steed, play a Grimes Scale Chum, play a Dude, then play Tarium, then use your Stonehill Defender as a 3-3 to run into one of your opposition 3-3s, and then all you're leaving is a 3-3 on the board for your opposition. Did you keep up with me there?
I'm sure I did.
There was a lot going on. No, you're not there. Okay.
No idea what you just said.
I mean, at your age, I'm not entirely surprised.
I can't help it, man. Can't help it. But I'll check the VOD and I will let you know what I thought on a later date.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, he's doing very similar to what I just said.
Yeah, I heard that's what you said. That's fine.
The only difference is he didn't trade in his Ashbringer. It makes a lot of sense. Does exactly the same thing, except he doesn't take the 7 damage. Makes more sense, in fact.
However, this Alexstrasza just going to cut you off there.
Yep.
Puts Mysterious onto 15, and then Fireball and Pyroblast in consecutive turns will do all the damage. But, Dan, did we see a tie?
We might see another tie. There is a possibility. So he can get him down to 16 now. He has a Gentle Megazord, actually has a Blessing of King, so that's 20 damage. So if he was to get a +3 damage on Wind
Can he
Fury...
crook the block exactly on 1 at any point? If he can, the dream is real.
Let me think.
16.
I think he can only do 23 damage this turn.
I think you are right.
Because this Megazord only buffs up 1 Murloc. He can either get Wind Fury or +3 damage.
There they are.
So there they are. There's one of the options. But you did say GreenSheep needs to win across 2 turns.
Right.
I think that was the key factor there.
That is the key
so
factor
now he
there.
could put him down to whatever he wants. Then next turn can get him down to 1, and then we maybe, hey presto, back to another Tiny.
Wow. 2 ties could be a thing, which is something that I haven't worn in my entire life.
Why would you ever wear 2 ties?
I haven't ever worn a tie, let alone 2.
Did they not have ties back in your day?
No.
Okay, great.
Wow.
Well, there we go. Mysterious
mean man.
is just going to get him down as low as possible. Actually does get him down to 1. How did I miss that? Okay, of course, because he buffed up the Grime Scale Chum with the Blessings of Kings, with the Wind Fury. That's how he does the damage.
This is why I don't listen to what you're saying.
This is why we were too busy talking about ties and how old you are. And now, Mysterious has once again got GreenSheep down to 1.
But this time, GreenSheep can't do any damage without dying, and I think this is actually checkmate for Mysterious. The tie is going to be dodged by the look of it.
Does look that way indeed. No way for him to get through any of these taunts and deal any damage, because he will just die from the eye for an eye. So GreenSheep just running through the motions now, considering how can I possibly stay in this one?
Yeah,
Ice Block, of
he
course,
will
not
know
gonna
that it's
save it.
almost certainly eye for an eye. It was picked up on turn 2, I think it was.
I mean, that is something. It could be a bluff.
Yeah,
I mean,
so he's got to play. The reason he's taking his time is because he can't actually see that this is definitely eye for an eye. There's a chance. There's not, because we can see there isn't. But in his mind, there's a chance that he can still win this game of Hearthstone. But we'll probably see him ping face at some point very soon, and then he'll get the news that he's in trouble. Unless he has a way from a glyph of gaining a health summit point.
Well, I guess he doesn't need to ping face here. I mean, he does survive another turn.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to think, is there a way that I can get a tie again? But unfortunately, I don't think there is.
He needs to gain 1 health for that to be a thing. I can't see how he can gain health in this deck.
Anything from Glyph that he could pick up?
Cabal Courier could get you like a greater healing potion or something like that.
Okay, so there is possibilities of GreenSheep.
Yeah, that's why he's in this. That's why the Cabal Courier has slowed down the meta so much.
It's a very thin and very small possibility.
Yeah, it's definitely an icy line he's treading.
Indeed. Shadow Form's not going to help either. That could have been so different. Think about all the spells he was picking up from Lyra.
Yeah.
Imagine if he had got a nice
Good
healing spell.
ones.
Yeah, good ones rather than Purify.
Wow. You know, what's Purify ever done to you?
It came out. It was released.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the moment, as far as GreenSheep's concerned, he might be able to clear this board up, which means he's not going to take the 1 damage for a long time.
Then he just died
But we can see the true silver champion in hand anyway, even if GreenSheep does kill all this stuff.
Like an intellect, you start searching for that very small percentage.
Yeah, the percentage is dribbling away here, I think.
So there is actually a secret in play. I know you can't see it. It's just hiding behind that little box. It is an eye for an eye. Mysterious actually is shaking his head. He's thinking, I mean, what's going on here? But Mysterious, you're in a good spot, buddy.
There's a glyph.
There's a glyph. There's your option.
Just get another ice block. Okay, he's going to make sure he shadow forms actually, which means he gets to use 2 hero powers in 1 turn to clear everything up. And he's going to get the bad news that Mysterious has the true silver champion in hand. Mysterious nods, smiles to himself, and after about 6 hours of this final, it goes to 1-0.
Yeah, after a long fought game from Mysterious, actually the Blessing of Kings combined with the Wind Fury of the Adapt was enough to get GreenSheep down to 1. And the eye for an eye was just an awkward play around for GreenSheep. Finally, Mysterious gets that 1-0 advantage, and we'll be going into that second game. But, I mean, I think this is what we deserved in the grand final after 3 3-0s.
Yeah, for sure.
We deserved something a little bit closer, Neil.
I agree entirely. And Mysterious there showing what a lot of people don't realise about Hearthstone. People play a game of Hearthstone and say, I made no mistakes. It's not the making no mistakes. It's taking eye for an eye on turn 2, and it wins you the game on turn 16. You know, you could play that game if you're at home and lose it because you didn't take the eye for an eye, and you think, well, I played all right. What did I do wrong? Well, what you did wrong is you didn't take eye for an eye on turn 2. And how can you ever reconstruct that unless you play a lot of Hearthstone, unless you think about it very clearly? And Mysterious showing us there exactly how the pro players really think a long, long way ahead.
Yeah, there was 2 things in that game that really changed it. The eye for an eye was 1, and getting the Wind Fury off of that Megasaur. If it was just a +3 attack, he could have only got him down to 2.
Oh, that's what you're on about.
That was what I was on about.
Now, yeah.
But the fact he was able to get Wind Fury, he was able to play that with the Blessing of Kings, and that was where he got the damage out.
Yeah, I overlooked an extra 4 damage twice.
Yeah, I overlooked that completely, and absolutely huge for Mysterious to get him down to 1. It's the mistake that a lot of people can make with eye for an eye. Sometimes you do just put them down to 3, and then you play it, and you think, okay, I might be able to win the game.
And they ping you because they know it's eye for an eye because they've done their homework too.
Exactly. And Mysterious, as you can see, is a French player playing in the UK, does live here, and he's been to every Premiership final we've ever had in Hearthstone.
That's a lot. Yeah, I was going to say, he hasn't played the CSGO as well.
No, yeah, he might be multi-gamer, but he's not been there for the other games. And 3rd place, both times, already gained 2nd, and now he's 1-0 up. If he wins this series, he will have to win another best of 5, though, because he came from the loser bracket. GreenSheep, however, just needs to win 3 games, and then he will be lifting that trophy that you see on your screen. So now we'll jump into the second game of this series. And to be honest, GreenSheep will be wanting to just try and calm down a bit. That was a long, drawn-out game.
This could go on a long time. I know when Ball Control had that match against Cypher he was talking about earlier where it went to 2 matches. I mean, that was hours and hours of Hearthstone, in a good way. I mean, it was exciting Hearthstone. And this could definitely go on for some time if Mysterious takes it, say, 3-2 twice.
Yeah, they've got to be prepared. They've got to have that mental game. Got to have the fatigue. A lot of people will be saying, fatigue? For Hearthstone? But honestly, if your mind starts dwindling, you're really going to struggle to make those calls and decide really important decisions, as we're going to have the Pirate Warrior against the Discover Mage.
So the Discover Mage off to a decent looking start here, but not spectacular. Mainly at the hands of the Pirates getting a pretty awful opening hand. Interesting to note that Mysterious didn't bother upgrading there. He's going to wait and see if he actually picks something worth doing on turn 2.
We've seen this situation quite a few times, where the Pirate Warrior just draws its 4 mana, 3 mana costs, and then you're in this sticky situation with upgrade. Do I play it just so I can get Dread Corsair on the board next turn, and the patches, and then potentially have the follow-up of the Bloodsail?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. It's a little bit different because he does have the coin as well, so he can do both in one turn if he wants, but I do feel at some points that you just got to get something on the board. He's actually just going to ignore the upgrade and just go straight out with the blood sail.
Did he forget to attack with patches? Oh, Mysterious!
And he gets the BM there from GreenSheep, the amazing.
Oh, who forgets to attack with patches?
People who are getting fatigued in the
Yeah,
brain.
if you're tired, or if you're rank 10.
You?
No.
Oh, you're looking at me, aren't you?
No.
Oh, who are you looking at?
Everyone.
Everyone. You're rank 10 in the crowd, you've just been dissed by Gaskin. Kill him later.
So we will remember 1 damage missed from Mysterious. That could be substantial later on. And to be honest, Neil, like stuff like that can actually affect your mental game as well.
Right.
If you flat out know you've just made a massive mistake, yes, okay, it's only 1 damage, but later on you'll be saying, I wish I had attacked with patches.
The thing is, it's only 1 damage, but anybody can get, let's say, a number 25, 26 damage through against Mage. Pirates just does it, no matter how badly you play, you'll get quite a bit through. And the key is every single point of damage from that 26 to 30 that makes you a good player. And that 1 could be like a quarter of the difference, basically. It's not like 1 point out of 30, it's more like 1 point out of 4 or 5, because, like I say, anybody can do something in the mid-20s. You just point things at the opposing face and go.
If we get to a position where there's GreenSheep's on 5 HP, and Mortal Strike is the only card in hand, and he's above 12, then he's going to be thinking, oh god.
And we're going to love it.
We are going to relish it, bathe in it.
So Mysterious building a bit of a board up now, but GreenSheep looks like he's in a fairly decent spot here. He's going to be able to actually use Medivh's Valet. The reason I talk about it so often is because sometimes when you play Ice Barrier, you just don't get the chance to play the Valet on the same turn, because you're playing it on turn 3 to save the 8. He saved this to turn 5 with this in mind and getting a lot of value and tempo swing out of it.
Options for Mysterious then. Captain Greenskin, something that has seen being included recently in Pirate Warrior, but it's kind of dipped in and out. It's never really stuck around. It just seems to be the decision that Pirate Warrior has been trying to find that replacement for Bash after Bash was taken out of the because of Ungoro. I don't mind it. I think it can be a fantastic card in the right place.
Yeah, it seems to do the job pretty well. It's unconditional, which is, well, you've got to have a weapon, but it's unconditional apart from that, whereas some of the others are a bit more conditional, like the Bloodsail Cultist is, you have to mess around and have a pirate in play and all that stuff going on, which results in you losing value, like earlier when Mysterious just had to play it on turn 2. Greenskin doesn't have that. He just plops onto the board and does his thing.
Mysterious can now just upgrade, clear this Mana Worm, and play a Corcoran Elite if you would like, as well as a Deckhand, just to start putting some damage into the face of GreenSheep. Who'd have believed it? We're at turn 6 and GreenSheep actually still has HP to work with.
Yeah, has more health than the Pirate Warrior that's been hitting him in the face for the whole game. And GreenSheep's going to get in the lovely position of having Medivh on the board. Almost certainly as something absolutely insane happens for Mysterious. And as soon as you've got Medivh on the board as a mage against Pirates, and you've got any sort of health total, you're going to win. Because every time you kill something, you make up another minion for the next turn.
Countless times I've counted Pirate Warrior out though, Neil. I've been in
Countless
positions
times.
like this.
How did you count them?
Less times than I should have. I've been in this position where I've said, I think that the Pirate Warrior has flat out lost, and then suddenly they just draw damage after damage after damage after damage.
Yeah,
like a damage train.
Damage train, yeah, if they clear stuff out of the way and suddenly get like Arcanite Reaper for 5, into Arcanite Reaper buffed up, into buffed up again, suddenly that Arcanite Reaper does like 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus whatever that number is, 7 more, something like that, and that's a lot of numbers.
So luck evening out for GreenSheep. Earlier on he did get one of the Earth Elementals from his Firelance Portal. This time though, just a Starving Buzzard. Rest in pieces.
Yeah, he's going to get this Medivh turned down though, and with Frostbolt in hand, this is what I was talking about. You don't need a big thing to come from Medivh in this matchup. You just need anything. Any 2-drop that isn't completely awful will help him swing this around. And actually GreenSheep thinks he's got so much to work with here. He's just going to go with this, putting down 2 3s onto the board.
Yeah, the Arcanologist off the top, just allowing him to... No, the Medivh's Valet off the top, just allowing him to make this play and clear up accordingly. And every turn becomes more awkward for Mysterious because there's more decision-making. Do I remove? When do I just start trying to go face? He still has to get through a massive chunk. 31 health.
That's a lot. I mean, Pirates can do a lot, but that's even more than a lot. Getting a free Dread Corsair is important. It's going to enable him to at least develop a lot of damage potentially in one turn. This is all what you were talking about, right? This is going to actually put 3 on the board and then just 6 to the face from out of nowhere, pretty much.
Yep, he just is taking the decision now. I start to put as much damage towards the face as possible. Hope that I can kill him quicker than he can kill me. But as you have rightly said, Medivh may make a big difference there.
Interesting to see if he keeps a minion on the table and takes the 3 to the face, but you don't want to. You can see that things could just get a bit sketchy with this Arcanite Reaper. A Leroy Jenkins was drawn, something like that. And you can see how quickly this damage gets delivered. Suddenly, GreenSheep a minute ago had loads of health to work with. Now he's on 18.
I mean, Mysterious could be in a position where he draws another Mortal Strike, GreenSheep gets him down relatively low, and then he's got just 12 damage from hand.
Yeah, GreenSheep has to be careful to get Mysterious down to 13, then kill him in one turn the turn after to prevent the damage from those Mortal Strikes.
I would presume this Frostbolt is actually going to go to face rather than to the Corsair.
It's interesting because the face can only do that 7 points of damage once, so even if you freeze it and it does the damage to you later, it doesn't matter, it was only get that 7 once. Whereas if you kill the Corsair, that could go to your face more than once.
But I guess he could clear it with Medivh.
Right, so that's what it looks like he's going to do, just get rid of everything that Mysterious can possibly hit you with. And now the beatdown is that he wins in 2 turns, but he has to be a little bit careful about double Mortal Strike.
Spellbreaker isn't any more damage as well. It's a tech indecision that we've seen a lot throughout Pirate Warrior, and it has worked out previously today for Mysterious.
Yes, got him through into this match by just removing taunts. This time it's got 3 legitimate targets. You can make the Mana Worm smaller, you can stop the Pyromancer from killing your things, or you can deny the card, and he chooses to do none of those things.
Polymorph, dead draw, Volcanic Potion, not doing anything either. But the fact that he just has so much pressure on this board now, GreenSheep, he'll be feeling in a very comfortable position. So comfortable, in fact, he can just ping off his own Thalmos for more card draw, finds an Ice Barrier, which might just be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, that Ice Barrier getting an extra 8. There's no way that 18 can possibly come from hand just in spells. So that negates Leroy Jenkins. It also gets rid of the weapon. And he sets up lethal that allows him to do this. And as long as he doesn't do anything silly, he has got to be a bit careful with his Pyromancer blowing up his Medivh. Beyond that, he should be fine.
Yep, Mysterious can do what he can try his best to maybe remove as much on the board as possible, but after seeing this Ice Barrier, I would imagine he'd probably just concede here, and we will see GreenSheep tie this one up 1-1. So it looks like we're going to get the grand final that we wanted, that I think we deserved. I think everyone here deserved, to be honest. After such a quick day of players just being swept by their opposition, it looks like we finally have found our 2 competitors who are at an equal ground here now.
It does. Just pausing briefly, because this might take a moment still to tidy up, but GreenSheep is going to take it down at some point. I don't think there's a way for Mysterious to get back. And yeah, finally getting, like you say, what we deserved in this. It's been a fantastic season of matches. Plenty of those on the VODs you should check out at home. And bit of a damp squib so far up to this point, but now we're going to have a really long final. Like, it's 1-1 and we've been playing for a long time already. Even though it's aggressive, it still takes a while because the control decks have to sort of make the aggressive slow down.
And of course, yeah, you're going to play to all of your outs. I mean, Mysterious, even though he's in an awful position and I'm saying he's probably lost, I'm just being honest, he's still going to play to every single out possible. He will continue this game going until he is outright dead. GreenSheep now has the possibility to just Flame Strike an empty board.
Well, I think that's what he's thinking.
A 7-mana minion, just so he can try and finish this game off. I think it's the right play, personally.
Well, he's thinking, but the Flame Strike will just kill... He's thinking, is there a hurry? So if next turn my opponent plays anything at all, I can get the Flame Strike while I'm in a hurry, but he feels like this will help him control the board better, and he gets the Loch Ness Monster, apparently.
I think it was the right decision. Just get more board presence. Just try and finish this game off as quickly as possible. Don't allow the Pirate Warrior back into the game whatsoever. Mysterious still going to try and do what he can with the damage from hand. It's still a very awkward situation. GreenSheep can still trade everything in and has now a decent pressure thanks to using that Flame Strike previously. I think it was the right decision to do so. And he's just going to put as much damage to face here. Probably Polymorph and Ping as well.
Yeah, now he's got that second ice block for comfort. I think he's going to be absolutely fine. I'm interested to know why he felt the need to flame strike there, but maybe he found a line where Mysterious would save up a little bit and play a load of things in one turn after the flame strike. Like if he plays 1 minion, then gets flame strike, then he plays 3 minions because you've taken too long and not killed him.
Regardless, GreenSheep will tie this one up 1-1, and we'll move into the third game of the series. Pirate Warrior struggling to get through just the sheer amount of removal there from the Discover Mage, and now GreenSheep can put that one to bed and move on to one of his other decks. So GreenSheep still has Rogue and Druid to play. Mysterious still has his Pirate Warrior and his Aggro Druid.
I'm wondering if GreenSheep's keeping the Rogue... Like, so Conquest pick order is something that doesn't matter. We've established that.
Yeah.
But it does. It can.
Okay.
So if GreenSheep keeps the Rogue until last, that's the deck that he's really going to struggle to get a win with. Just to keep the pressure on. It doesn't make a mathematical difference. It's got X% the same, blah, blah, blah. The order you pick them in makes no mathematical difference. But if you can keep it till last and get a 2-1 lead, maybe just put a little bit of pressure on your opponent.
Oh, for sure. Mentality, mind games, they do come into play. And it's the conversation that we always have when people say, oh, it doesn't matter, Conquest. So you're completely right for bringing that up. It's something that I always like to touch on with mentality in Hearthstone, because it is so apparent. It can make such a difference. If players are upset, if they get tilted, we can see it can change their gameplay. We've seen it from players in the Premiership this season. Hello, Leroy. Clearly, I mean, you laugh, but clearly he was upset with some plays that happened, and his gameplay was affected because of it. A fantastic player. I thought he could have been here this weekend, but he's not here. These players on stage need to keep calm, need to stay very calm and collected about their play if they're going to win this one.
And who's going to win this one, Dan?
Well, I mean, we've got the dream innovates from both sides. I guess for GreenSheep, the fact is he's turn 1, so he can't do that innovate into Fandral. However, it does mean he's just going to have to pass, and we're going to see Mysterious have the option of just innovating out this fledgling here. Possibly even with a coin into Bloodsail as well, just to put even more pressure on the board.
Oh, Mysterious just picked up the Power of the Wild, which means he's got the option if he wants, because you never delay the fledgling because they've got less chance of having Wrath to kill it if you delay. But it's just going to take a moment to think about next turn he can go coin, innovate, fledgling and Power of the Wild and buff up the fledgling plus these two guys, and the fledgling will have 4 health, so it will be out of range of Wrath. It will not, however, be out of range of Feral Rage. But if GreenSheep's spending his whole turn of Feral Raging the fledgling, then he's not killing the 2/2s. However, GreenSheep's found a really good line of play. Again, just playing this straight onto the board like he did earlier in the day.
Always helps. I think I prefer just getting the fledgling onto the board, but you're completely right. When you're going up against Wrath, it's such a risky decision. The fact that GreenSheep's been able to innovate out Fandral again, it happened in his winner bracket final as well, and he just ran.
Yeah, I think it was still on the board like 4 turns later, and although Fandral's not quite the powerhouse it used to be, with Feral Rage and Nourish, it's still pretty good.
Certainly if GreenSheep can keep the board control, then this game is his. He has the tools to remove, he has the tools to gain armor, to get out of range of the aggro. His worry is if the board gets too much for him to deal with.
Yeah, and actually going for the Mark of his charge there on the fledgling. But this... it's pretty good, because GreenSheep has to Feral Rage it, I think.
You can't leave a fledgling on the board. You just outright lose a game if you leave a fledgling on the board, or you can lose a game. If it gets Wind Fury, gets Stealth, possible game over.
Yeah, I agree entirely. And it's not the worst Feral Rage ever. You're going to get the 8 armor at least temporarily until 5 of it just gets munched by this stupid creature.
Yeah, the important factor, as you said, is the armor. I mean, Mysterious drawing living mana is huge. The fact he has a buff of Power of the World later if he wants to save it. If he can even have the mana, another Innovate would be absolutely huge for that one. Maybe encouraged just to play Hungry Crab plus Power of the Wild to get as much board presence early as possible. But GreenSheep still deliberating. Do I, don't I?
So he'll be thinking maybe it's only a 30% chance against Wind Fury. If you play Jade Blossom, you've got a lot more wiggle room next turn because you'll have 5 mana, so you can Feral Rage and use your hero power in one go.
Choosing not to get rid of the fledgling. Things could start to get out of control here. And there's another one as well.
I don't even know what the plural for fledglings is, but it's probably fledglings.
Fledgli.
Fledgli. So if this gets Wind Fury, it'll be 2-1.
But potentially, I mean, it can be disgusting like that.
Yeah.
However,
if it doesn't get Wind Fury, then it would need Stealth or something to stop GreenSheep from killing it next turn.
It depends who's more scared of what. Is Mysterious even scared of this Fandral? The answer is no. Good job. Nice decision. Looks to see if he can find Wind Fury. We can't actually see, but we'll find out very quickly. Does get the Stealth, so it's not the Wind Fury, but it is the second best option.
Yeah, for those who are thinking that GreenSheep maybe made a mistake there, he took a decision that I'm in so much trouble that if I can kill this Fledgling a different way next turn, I will be okay. I've got a board to then fight back with. Whereas the other way, you kill the Fledgling, but the rest of the board still comes through on you. Your opponent rebuilds their board, as we saw with the Brawl that Ben did in the previous round.
Plus, we just saw Nourish from Fandral, which, if we didn't see a Fledgling on the board, we'd say that probably outright wins a game.
Yeah. That's made a big difference in terms of setting up. And second Fledgling feels bad, man.
So Mysterious is just going to play this game out. He's saying, look, I'm going to keep going face. I don't really give a damn about this Fandral. And he found the Wind Fury. So he can put him down to 4 HP. If he finds a Stealth as well, this would be massive.
I'm not even
a Divine
sure.
Shield.
Just as casual 7-10 Wind Fury that GreenSheep could have killed on turn 3.
Could have killed it, and now I'm looking at his options. It's just damage control. Feral Rage will, of course, gain him 8 armor. He can then trade off and kill one of the Fledglings. Perhaps play a Tar Creeper, but there's already Wind Fury, so you're dead anyway.
Maybe play a Primordial Drake after trading in your Fandral just to not die next turn. But
then you just die anyway.
But you do.
Yeah, because it's got Wind Fury, you then have the hero power as well. He's got the follow-up of Living Mana. Even if there is a way that GreenSheep somehow removes this off the board, Mysterious drops one of the most disgusting cards available for Aggro Druid. Filthy.
Filthy, filthy stuff going on here with an 11 attack on the board. It is, however, despite the fact that GreenSheep has like 1,000,000 mana, Mysterious has had 4 turns. 4. That's not many. That's like less than 7.
So he is going down the route of just trading off. I was thinking about killing the Wind Furied Fledgling there. But taking the 7 is risky. Time running out, he needs to think about it. He's run out of time as well. You can see he's shaking his head, saying, I don't even know what the bloomin' hell I'm doing anymore. Head in hands. Not happy about it. And he is just outright dead.
He's just dead. Like, this is the mistake I made when I was talking about the Drake. This is the exact same situation I was talking about. And Mysterious is just going to just kill him with the Fledgling. Yep,
you rub salt in the wounds as well by playing the Savage Roar. Mysterious goes 2-1 up and is 1 game away from taking this to a second best of 5. GreenSheep opting not to kill that Vicious Fledgling. A very brave decision, one that you actually somewhat agreed with, Neil. You said it was, you completely understood him doing that. You said there is definitely reason to not kill it. Unfortunately, didn't go for him. The fact that the Fledgling got a Stealth and then it got Wind Fury next turn, just can't keep up with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of good options there. There's a Wind Fury, there's a Stealth there. They're the 2 that actually beat you on the spot, which is, I think, 58% or something similar to that number.
Yeah.
Then there's Divine Shield, which is going to hurt you. It's going to be a nuisance. And there are 1 or 2 others that are going to be a nuisance, like +1/+1. So not getting rid of it was definitely brave, but he felt that if he got rid of it and didn't have any sort of board, that he couldn't deal with the reload that Mysterious was going to make.
Pirate Warrior, the remaining deck for Mysterious then, just needs to get 1 win, and bear in mind, he does have to face off against a rogue at some point. We don't know what rogue that is. It could still be Miracle for all we know, but the likelihood is Quest just for its sheer popularity. Yeah. Regardless, Miracle or Quest, do we still think Pirate Warrior is favoured?
I do like the Pirate Warrior against pretty much everything, to be honest.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, whichever it is, GreenSheep will have it to do. Because it has no defences. Either version, like, one has the sap, but if they're just launching a weapon in your face for 7 damage, you're not dodging it as the rogue anymore.
In general, Jade Druid can do very well against Pirate Warrior. It can have that early removal as well as just sheer armor gain and nice sustain ability. However, you need to pick it up.
And this is definitely 100% the correct deck choice. It doesn't matter, he's got to win with them both. But if he loses this, they have to play again. And so there's no reason, or we're guessing which rogue he's playing, so make Mysterious guess which rogue you're playing as well, just in case you've still got something up your sleeve.
That's a very good point. Very, very good point. Trying to play your cards right, keep stuff up your sleeve, as you said, and now GreenSheep does have a little bit of his early game. The fact he's been able to get that wild growth allows him next turn to either drop Jade Spirit or Fandral once again. And Fandral is one of those cards you just have to deal with, or, well, in Mysterious's case, if you have a fledgling, you can just ignore it, but...
Yeah, he's got several options now, GreenSheep, whatever happens here. He's got the option to swipe and get a very nice swipe. He could also delay the swipe just to get the Jade Spirit down. He can try... I think at the back of his mind, he'll be thinking of Fandral Feral Rage on turn 7.
There was a very little thought process behind that one. That was an instant swipe. GreenSheep known for playing very quickly, known for his aggro. But there was no thought process behind that one. He was sure what he wanted.
This is where Feral Rage comes in handy with the options available. Normally you're using it for the armor, of course, but here you can use it to kill the Berserker. You also have the option here to play the Jade Blossom, and then next turn you can play Fandral and Feral Rage together. Choosing to kill it now, I think maybe influenced the speed of that by the fact he didn't kill the fledgling last game.
I think he's saying, well, I regretted it last time, let's not make that decision once again.
He started thinking there about playing Jade Blossom to set up the Fandral and thought, nah, that's...
Again, how mentality can really affect how you play in Hearthstone.
Yeah, it's just a thing that he suddenly, it was clear, right? He just suddenly nah, I'm not killing this. It's going to work out well for him. He's going to be able to get the Jade Blossom down and play the Feral Rage next turn and just start to get a little bit of presence. Okay.
Oh, Wrath off the top. So that's what changed his decision. I think we saw that Wrath later than he did, clearly.
Ah, okay. Good call, yeah.
But a nice option to just remove Fandral off the board nice and comfortably, and now Mysterious has basically an Ashbringer in his hand.
And the pace of play has changed. We suddenly play by playing this game. A minute ago we were talking, yeah, you know, what you're doing at the weekend, Dan, what's the weather like? And suddenly it's like, and he's killing him, blah, blah, blah. Suddenly, with that last game, GreenSheep has started to play incredibly fast.
And is this just game? No, it's not quite. Close, though.
So what are you doing at the weekend?
Casting Hearthstone.
Sounds good to me. All this damage just going to go face, though. Very little that GreenSheep will be able to do about it. Even though he has the Earthen Scales and the Auctioneer, the theory there is often that they have to kill the Auctioneer. Not if you're on 13, they don't. They just kill you.
So Feral Rage can take him up to 16. Earthen Scales onto the biggest minion can take him up to 19. And then you've got Wrath to try and deal with minions as well.
And that's assuming that he's worried about the Leroy. What you normally do in these situations, actually, is hope your opponent doesn't have their best card, which is Leroy right now, and play accordingly. I actually feel here that Auctioneer and Scales was probably better.
Yeah, I can see.
Oh, there wasn't enough mana. Sorry.
Yeah,
I feel that having 15 mana is better than having 9, I guess.
It is good. Usually that would help. We've got the Spellbreaker option if he wants to keep it in his hand, just in case he has to remove any taunts, rather than just putting that body down. It looks like he's just going to jam this damage ASAP. Leroy gets thrown onto the board. We'll just immediately push this damage to face and beg the question of GreenSheep of, well, you've got 2 cards left. We've already seen the Wrath. We're going to have to hope for... Oh, okay, that helps. Auctioneer plus both Earthen Scales is not only going to draw him 2 cards, but that's also going to give him another 11 armor.
Except he can't put them both on the Auctioneer, because he will get slapped for more than 16 or whatever number that comes to of health he will have. So he'll probably put the first one on the Auctioneer. Maybe he has to put one on a Whelp. He has to deal with so many things that he doesn't gain any armor.
Yeah, I think you have to put one on the Auctioneer first, perhaps just for the armor gain, but you're completely right. One on the Whelp just to deal with the Leroy, maybe.
You're hoping to draw an Innovate, followed by yet another spell afterwards.
You can get out of range. You can trade in both the 1/1s to the 6/2, and there's what? There's 14 damage on board.
Yeah, he's going to play this Tar Creeper, and it's going to get Spellbreaker, and that's going to be that.
GreenSheep has to decide. It's actually a really tough decision. He knows that there is a possibility as well of it being in the hand. Because he's seen Mysterious play And he does play the Tar Creeper, and the Spellbreaker again is going to allow Mysterious to win with his Pirate Warrior. He's going to take this series 3-1, and we're going to go to a second best of 5 to find out who is going to be the Premiership champion, Neil.
So they redid the first game, and now they're going to redo the entire match. Mysterious earning the right to a true grand final. It's going to be one best of 5 to see who takes down Premiership Season 3.
Mysterious, the only